So officially, good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome out to the Options Income Launchpad Sunday Market Insights. My name is Scott. I'll be your host. If you're listening to the recording, would love to have you come to the live version. Much better. Disclaimers, as always, let me remind you that what we're doing is for education and illustrative purposes only. Nothing is intended to be a recommendation to buy or sell any security or financial product. We're not brokers, we're not advisors. Therefore, decisions you make should be done at your own risk. I keep thinking that I hit what I need to hit for this thing to initialize and let me log in. Come on, Thinkorswim. Get it together. Okay. Whoops. Too far. What are we going to do today? Let's posture the market. There's a funky undertone to the market. We want to see if we're starting to pick up anything that's shifting, or if it's staying the same. What does it need to do to keep staying the same? Still haven't received any text messages. Can't find where a phone number is actually stored. Okay, so do you remember? You know what? Let me just make a note, and I'll have someone look into. Do you remember like opting in? I think there's like a weird opt-in. Good morning, Dottie. Good to see you. Bob Roland. Text alerts. Okay. I can have the admins look into it. Okay. We'll go through the market posture. We'll look at the economic calendar this week to see what's coming in front of us, what sectors look good, watch list maintenance. We will build this week's short list. At the end of last week, there were still alerts in the setup. Financials still showing some setup. Okay. Is anyone else having like a Thinkorswim issue this morning? Getting it to log in? Mine's going a little slow on the reset. I'm going to try one more time. Log right in. Okay. I've got two of these things running. 3 of them, apparently. Something. Okay. Well, let's get into it. Let's see if any of my Thinkorswim instances are actually turning on. Lots of news today. Like new news? What am I missing? Shutdown leaves economic data in limbo. What to watch? Tariffs should overtake shutdown as main investing concern. Oh, what else? Well, let me see. Oh, none of these are getting there. Oh, what is going on with my Thinkorswim today, you guys? Disconnected across the board. Okay. Well, let's get other things in place. And we'll get started. Hamas deadline, tariff trouble. Yeah. Yeah, lots of potential things going on for sure. I agree. Legal threats are pushing Trump's tariff strategy in new directions. I think that might be what you're talking about. Let me get my posture log up here. Dottie's having issues as well. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, we know Sundays tend to have that, but usually something gets through. I'm going to start over. Come on, Thinkorswim. You can do it. All right. I restarted it. Everything's closed. Let's see if it can pick up here. Let's start on the bottom side. Let's look at the calendar. What do we have coming out this week? What do we have next week? Let me reload this. A lot of Fed speak this week, but not a lot of real reports. Realistically, nothing on Monday. Nothing on Tuesday. Nothing on Wednesday. Thursday, we have jobless claims. Yeah, that's really... Can you send your first 100 trades and give some feedback? Yeah, send it my way. I'd love to take a look. I would love to take a look. The week after, so next week, the 15th and the 16th, I'd say email's probably best. We have the CPI and the PPI. CPI and PPI. So we have our next set of inflationary data scheduled, but that's the concern, right? Is it's scheduled, but whoops, there we go. But we're starting to have expectations that data is going to be delayed. So delayed data is going to, I think, spook the market. That'll be interesting. All right, let's get to the my charts are coming up, but let's just start with sector rotation and major market. Okay, major market analysis. What do we have up top? The NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ on top, as we've seen. What do we have next? S&P. You guys can't see the screen? What is going on? Now can you see it? Okay. My goodness. When it rains, it pours. Okay, NASDAQ on top, as you can now see. NASDAQ on top, S&P next, followed by the Dow with the Russell in fourth position. Pretty well measured, though, from this recovery. It's not like anything is, in fact, you can see that the Dow was much higher sooner, which means that we can already see how the the Russell has caught up to it. Let's keep going through and see, as the momentum shifts, what do we see? And now you can see the NASDAQ still on top. And what's the only shift? We still have the Dow down here in this lagging. We still have the S&P in the middle. The shift we have is that the Russell has moved into second position, a leading position, and is still there, right? So that's what's important, is that even here in the last week or two, what have we seen? We've seen it stay stable. It stayed in that leading position. Yeah, it's going on quite a while now. That's a good point. Let's go to 66 days. What do we see? More of the S&P, or excuse me, more of the Russell in a leading position. We have the NASDAQ on top, Russell right there with it on top. So whatever else we've seen over the last couple of weeks, we've seen a major market rotation of small caps moving into a leadership position and staying there. We haven't seen any spikes from the Dow, any drops from the Russell, any drops from the NASDAQ. We've seen it continue on in this, and that's how we're going to assess it, is still strong. Let's go down to 22 days. And on 22 days, still the NASDAQ on top. You can see there was a little blip right here. Small caps dipped just for the day and right back up into this position here, this leading position here. And so it is, it's maintaining the shift in the strength as we have previously identified it. So what is my score? Still a 1, right? Still a 1. Looking happy indeed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go look at sectors real fast, and then we'll go back in. I did get my charts to finally load up here. Let's get these ready. Ta-da! All right. All right. How do I get rid of this at the bottom? Nope. Let me get this here. Okay. Little bit of an interesting surge here with utilities. We've talked about having seen a little increased momentum in utilities. Now, utilities has taken on a new meaning to some extent with the rise of crypto and the rise of AI development. Electricity requirements have surged into growth levels. And we are looking at XLU. I haven't added any individual companies, electric companies. I haven't added any individual electric companies to the list, but I do think I will continue to look at XLU as a viable option to take advantage of what we're seeing going on there, because there's definitely something interesting there. Okay, what else? Technology still up in the top. Communication services still up in the top. Industrials moved into. We've been waiting to see what else happens. Do we have someone else moving in? So industrials moved up. Financials is close. On this perspective, consumer discretionary is way at the bottom. Consumer discretionary really got hit when the tariffs first came out, right? Of course they did, because it's retail. But it's managed to have a pretty strong recovery and is maintaining that. So we don't see it here, but we do as soon as we move to 133. Is this 133? Oh, this is an interesting one. So we have technology on the lead. Then down here around the market, we have communication services, discretionary, industrials, utilities. 3 of those 4 growth. 1 of those 4 has new growth elements about it. The only one missing down here is financials, which is interesting because financials is actually the one that we thought was setting up, that we were going to see some setups in. So I think that's interesting. Okay. Let's drop down to 66 days. And you can see we have technology at the top. So tech is still strong, still leading, still where a big piece of what we're looking for should be. Communication services near the top, but starting to show some concern, right? We have to acknowledge that there's a little bit of a diminishment in communication services. We have discretionary up high, but also kind of pulling back a little bit, sideways to pull back, and then we have a surge in utilities. I don't think this is enough that I would drop my score. I'm at a 0.5 right now. I don't think that's like, oh, let's move it to a 0.25 because nothing else happened. There's still a pretty decent sense of of growth when we have. They're still there near the top, right? Here's the S&P, so we still have discretionary on top. We still have communication services on top. But if this continues another week, I might dial my score back, right? I agree, Steven. Still on top, but I'd say barely. I would say barely. And we have a big surge here from where? Healthcare. Healthcare got the biggest surge over the last week. Healthcare, in this case, likely indicating a little bit more caution, right? A little bit more defensiveness, if you will. Okay. No change. All right. Sounds good. So I'm going unchanged for both of these. Let's jump back up to our S&P analysis and get that done. See where it puts us. We'll finish with the VIX. Okay. 3-year weekly. Interestingly, it's closer to, if one of the things I said was, is if it can get up to this red line, all the way up to the red line without a consolidation, I would actually raise my score if I saw that, right? I would raise my score if I saw that move up in that regard. Hasn't gotten there yet. But it feels like it's closer to touching that line. We're at 670. And next week, that line is at 682. 682. I mean, it's 2%. If we get 2%, we get up there. So whatever else, prices have continued to move up and show us that. Right? And show us that. Okay. Anyone moving their score? I'm still sitting at a 1.25. If it got up a little bit more, then I would be looking for that higher score at that point. Okay, let's keep going here. Short term. Where are you, short term? Honestly, the angles, the lines have looked almost identical, right? Almost identical. If we draw those lines, from here, oh, that's not what I meant to do. This has really been pretty steady, right? It's really been pretty steady for us. So, yeah. Let's see. No change. Yeah, agreed. I'm going to leave mine the same as well. Let's delete this. Let's get back over. All right. Let's drop it down to 1 month daily and let's get the volume. So, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we did not have enough advancement on this day. This was Tuesday to market for the buyers. Does that sound right? Maybe we should do the math. Okay, on the 29th, we closed at 663.68. And then the next day, the close was 666.18. $2.50 divided back into 663.68. 37. Yeah. I agree. I'm calling it a tie as well. We did have above average volume, but we did not have enough advancement for the buyers. So I'm going to duplicate this and activate this and move it over. And I'm going to duplicate my text note and move it over. Okay. So now what do we have going on here? We have a tie, but that's dropping off. And then these two ties. These are our only actual days. A buy followed by a sell. Tie, tie, tie. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ties. 1, 1, and 7. Tie goes to the buyers. Still a 0.25 for me. Unchanged. Unchanged. Okay. Let's go look at the VIX. Call it, then we'll go through our watch list, see what's going on in there. So that's the thing. Whatever it is we think we're feeling, we're not seeing anything that's like, oh, the institutions are really looking nervous because of this or that. There's been a little bit of a diminishment in sector rotation. In major market, the Dow, the Russell, and the Nasdaq in major market have completely held up. Completely held up. That analysis looks strong. When we look at sector rotation, it's a little bit different, right? It's a little bit different in sector rotation. Why? Well, because we're seeing jumps, and there's a little bit of explanation for utilities, less so for healthcare, and we're seeing declines. The technology still looks great. Still looks great. But the rest is concerning. Anyway. Okay, so with that in mind, let's see what the VIX says, because so far we're just not seeing much but small indications, nothing big. I want this. All right. Okay, so this was the last big thing we scored, which made this a lower high relative to this back here. And you'll notice that even what's going on right now, I kind of see as a large scale triangle. It is a sentiment consolidation. Thursday night we drew this, and on Friday I said, well, it could be that is a upside breakout, which we would mean thinks the market is more likely to be dropping. Or we could see B, which we would think meant the market is rising. Or we could see something in between, which would basically be below here and above here. Anything in that range, right? A doji or anything like that, that would be C. And in that, we would be thinking to ourselves, we don't know yet. We don't have enough information yet. This is a big one for me, because it's like both on the smaller scale and then on this bigger pattern, we're kind of stuck. And it's like, I think you could definitely make arguments that it's trying to almost do a mini lower high here, or you could make an argument that it tried to do a higher low here, right? So you're like, it's right, stuck in the middle. So if you've had a little bit of trouble with your VIX analysis, that's understandable. It is definitely trying to work through it. I'm not going to change my score. I'm going to leave my score alone. I didn't get enough to trigger a higher low. Because it's never taken out this point of the day that we looked at. It's tested near it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna overreact to that until I see it happen. And so it has advanced a little bit, but it's actually still underneath that level. So I'm gonna leave my score alone, and I'm watching for A or B to happen. And if A happens, what does that mean? I'm going to be less likely to take new trades. If I have any trades remaining, I'm going to shut them down. If I have some things on, I might throw a hedge with it. Yeah, so the A is concerning. Now, if B happens, I want to be ready with some trades. I want to be like, okay, let's see what we can get. Let's add, because that looks like it's trying to be stronger. And so, and if we get C, then it's more the same. Manage what you have. Look around to see if any new opportunities are coming up. But there is an uncertainty in the market right now for its next direction that we definitely should be, respecting as we watch, as we pay attention to this. Okay, let me know if you have any questions about that. Any questions about that? And we'll keep going. So what's the gist? That's probably the question. The gist of my score. Unchanged. I am unchanged basically across the board. Was anything close? No. The long term is close. If anything, the long term is close to a slight uptick, but it wasn't that close, but it may be reasonably close. Short term wasn't close at all. Volume, even if we had one extra buy day, that wouldn't have been enough to kick it to a half a point. I would say it's pretty firmly quarter of a point. Major markets as good as it gets anyway, but it held on to it pretty well. Sector rotation, if anything, is looking to, I would say, drop a quarter point, if anything. Sector rotation would drop, so that would kind of wash out. Long term up a little, sector rotation down a little. And the VIX is, I don't, if it gives us an A, then that score will drop. If it gives us a B, then that score will rise. I wouldn't say it's closer to one or the other. So it seems pretty good, pretty accurate, our score right now. That's a good assessment. Steve C., he said, still in a good place, but the market has some uncertainties. Yes, agreed. Stephen D. says, still have the same score. Love the analysis. I mean, look, the analysis here is about trying to be as consistent as we can with the things that we look at and how we look at it. And that way we can kind of be like, hey, what's coming? There's not a lot of big news coming this week. So, the government shutdown certainly is going to start weighing on the market if it doesn't get resolved. Legal challenges to the tariffs and what happens with the tariffs is certainly something that the market is also paying attention to. Okay. This should be the last week for the shutdown. Let's hope so. I definitely hope that they get that resolved. All right, let's get to the watch list. Let's get us to the watch list and see what's tradable. We're a 5.5. The institutions are not showing panic. Therefore, neither are we. Let's get to the top of our list, starting with Apple. And as last time, you can see Apple has been strong. The sellers have had an opportunity. What have they done with it? Hardly anything. Hardly anything. Archer Daniels. I don't have enough here. I have said for quite some time, I'm not looking to call the bottom, I'm looking for this thing to break through, come back, show me something a little bit more. Amazon is a no. It's struggling underneath the 50 now. ANET, I'm going to keep ANET on my list. Sellers have not been able to do anything with it. The buyers have also frozen out a little. You can see they tried and then it pulled back, and then they tried and then it's pulling back. We put one on for this. Wasn't bad. Took a loss. Wasn't a bad loss. Just never went the right way. APH, I still think, has opportunity. It had just a little blip right here, and now if this thing makes the pullback, I would say, yeah, anywhere in this region for a pullback would be nice. AVGO, I'm actually not really feeling the AVGO. Yeah, when it was here, I was like, ooh, it's got some momentum, maybe. But the way it's just sort of dissolved down into this, I'm going to say I'm less inclined. AXP looks great setting up. We definitely have momentum and setup potential in the financial sector. You can see the same thing here with BAC. And the same thing here with Citi. One or two, right? We're not going to go take every financial trade we see. One or two of these would make sense. Caterpillar has been on our list and was tradable last week. Still in, most likely, if you took it. CCJ looks like it could be setting up for something. A little bit of a pullback. CLS, I'm going to say, is a no. The sellers picked up a little bit. It's kind of really ground into some resistance at this 260 level. Capital One, I'm going to say, for me, I'm going to leave Capital One off the list. We have so many good ones in that first little bit. AXP, BAC, C. 3 solid, including a credit with AXP that I think looks stronger. So I'm going to hold off putting that one on. Coinbase is one that we're in. Still doing well. Probably gave you a chance to book like 80-90% of profits and then carry the rest to see if there's a little more in there. Cisco, I'm going to leave off the list this week. It's the same kind of a thing. The buyers did not keep pushing higher, but the sellers haven't done anything either. So there's a sense of equilibrium in here. Delta down. I'm going to say no, waiting for that to break out of its consolidation. DoorDash, it's choppy stock. It's not really giving consistency in how it moves to give us the kind of setup that we like to see. The Dow still looks fine. DocuSign does not. EA is in private, going in a private buyout, going private buyout. So it got the jump from the news, and now it's just kind of sitting waiting for the actual event to take place. I have to imagine the tender offers around 201, 202, something like that. Expedia. I feel like Expedia still warrants a spot on our consideration. Ford. I think Ford looks good, but it certainly need to pull back a little bit. Futu. Yeah, Futu is in kind of a bad place. I mean, it keeps Even on this day here where you're like, it gapped up and was up and you're like, hey, and then it comes down. Futu is a no. Fiber, choppy, that's a no. GE, still a yes for me. Still looks like it has plenty of upside. But not long. I'll lose patience quickly. Gold still looks bullish. I'm going to put gold on my list because it still looks bullish. Google still looks bullish. Little bit of weakness come into the communication services. If anyone's going to get them out of it, I would say it's Google. Goldman looks great. Again, you can see in the patterns of what we're looking at right now, the most likely setups are Goldman Sachs. Robinhood, bullish but overextended, but I'm going to put it on. If it pulls back, there's something there still. Good momentum. Howmet, industrials. IBM, no right now. Intel. Has anyone traded Intel? Or would be willing to trade Intel? It's a choppy one right now, isn't it? Small caps still look like they're holding up. I actually like Levi. I'm going to put Levi on the list. Lumentum, I'm still going to put on the list. Las Vegas is a no. LYB is a no. Meta is a no. Morgan Stanley is a yes. You can see that there's a lot more no's right now. Now, that's not necessarily that they're no's and we're kicking them off the watch list. They're no's and we're saying, hey, they're not really in a tradable place. I'm still waiting to see on my Microsoft. I like Micron. It's just way overextended. Netflix is a no. Northrop Grumman looks good, but it's overextended. We'll keep putting it on our list and watch to see if something gives a pullback. NVIDIA on the list. PGY is a no. PLTR, I'm going to say no with that sell-off candle there. The Qs looks fine. Roblox, gap down. Reddit, gap down. Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab still looks good, but you would have had to have taken that one. It's sort of jumped here in the last little bit. Silver looks strong. Let's put silver on. We'll have both the precious metals on. SoFi, I would still say SoFi looks good, but it's got to go. It can't break the 50. Tesla, I don't know. You've got some weird news in Tesla. TSM, I'm going to say, is still okay. So we've still got some chip stocks. We've got some financials. We've got a couple industrials. A little bit of technology. Still an okay range. A little bit tighter, though. Uber's just kind of flat. Upwork. I don't know. Upwork's still in a consolidation. I'm going to hold off on that for now. Visa trying to move a little bit. Here's the VIX, just kind of flat. This will be interesting because over the next week, the perspective of the VIX on a 6-month chart is going to change dramatically. Because these 5 candles here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are going to disappear. And this will be the top of the chart. So it's going to be interesting to watch as that happens this week. Walmart. I'm still a maybe. Walmart is still a maybe. Okay. What did I miss? Steven, did I not talk about any news that I needed to? We're waiting to see with a lot of it. The government shutdown is probably the biggest thing because the government shutdown has trickle-down effects into whether or not the next sets of data come our way. Yeah. Yes. We've got time. We'll see. But this week could be interesting. Keep an eye on that VIX. If we see if we see it break out to the upside, that's going to shake it quite a bit for me. That's going to have me really dial back. So that's something that I'll be watching for. This week, on our trading plans, we are moving on to record keeping. Record keeping. What does that mean? It means download the trade logs. That's all you got to do. Download and start using those trade logs. The trade journal is the trade log. It's the notes section. It's all in one place. All in one place where you have the ability to... Do I have one? Yes, I do. Trade comments. This is your trade log, column R. Fill this in. And if you fill this in, you'll have your log and you'll have your journal. Then, when we start talking next week about analytics, you'll have your dashboard all ready to go. This data is invaluable. It's so important to us. We need it. We have to have it. So let's look for that. So next 2 weeks.
I'm having trouble.
Whoops.
Please try in a little while.
Alexa's having trouble with something. I don't know what. Yeah. So let's get the record keeping and the analytics done. John says, I don't see the government shutdown ending before the election. Oh, so you think we could be another month? Yeah, if that happens, yeah, send it to me today to remind me, please, Stephen, and I will. I'll pop it in there. That would be tough for the market to handle, Captain John. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I mean, they seem to be digging in, and if that happens, the market's going to be right. We're going to lose data. We're going to lose a lot of things. That's going to make it very difficult to have the information we need for trading. So I'm hoping that Stephen D is right and that we come out of it this week. The longer it goes, the more extended it goes, the harder it's going to be on the market overall. So, yeah, there it is. Okay, so I will see you guys. Yeah, we both do. I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time as we transition from market posture, which is what we just did, to trading posture, which is what are we actually going to do come Monday morning. All right. It's great to see you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll catch you in the morning. And as always, happy trading.